Cycle 2, Week 21, Timeline and Math. Timeline. World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. We're going to do an ASLW, the number 2, the ASLF, which looks like this, and then the ASLR. If you want to throw a D in the middle of that for Franklin D. Roosevelt, you can. I feel like it's kind of too much. So we're just going to do the F and the D. So World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Stalin of the USSR. We're going to go up with our hand because it sounds like stall, like the word tall is in that name. So Stalin of the USSR and the Kentian Massacre. This sign just stands for, or it means killing of a large group of people, massacre. The United Nations formed, so we're just going to unite our two hands. We're just going to show that they're coming together and uniting. The United Nations formed. The Cold War. Just going to do the sign for cold. This is the ASL sign for cold. Gandhi. We're going to do our ASL G. Gandhi and India's independence. Jewish. So this is the sign for Jewish to show the beard. Jewish state established. Mao. We're going to do an ASLM. Mao and communist. Okay, that's out of frame. Try to do it with my left hand. ASLM and then this for communist. Mao and communist victory in China. This is what it looks like all together.
World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Stalin of the USSR and the Kentian Massacre. The United Nations formed. The Cold War. Gandhi and India's independence. Jewish state established. Mao and communist victory in China.
Or roll the dice like usual and do what it says. This says spin and sitting, so they would have to sit and spin at the same time. And that's what the timeline looks like. Math, the associative law of addition states, sounds like this. The associative law of addition states, open parentheses, A plus B, closed parentheses, plus C, equals A plus, open parentheses, B plus C, closed parentheses. And again for multiplication, the associative law of multiplication states, open parentheses, A times B, closed parentheses, times C, equals A times, open parentheses, B times C, close parentheses. And for this one, I'm going to give everybody a turn to pick an activity for everybody to do. So I'll pick one person and they might pick push-ups or jumping jacks or flossing. Pick an activity and then we'll just keep singing through it, doing the different activities. English, a conjunction. I'm going to use the tune from Schoolhouse Rock. What we're saying is a conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. And this is how it sounds. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. Conjunction, junction, that's your function. Okay, one more time. And of course, we'll use lamb for this. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. Conjunction, junction, that's your function. And then we've got history. Tell me about the end of the Cold War. This one we're going to sing with some hand motions. So in the 1980s, ooh, British Prime Minister. We're just going to act like we're drinking tea. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and the U.S. President. We're going to put our hand on our chest like we're saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And the U.S. President Ronald Reagan. We're just going to do 2 R's in ASL. Ronald Reagan. Work together. We're going to put our hands interlocked like this. Work together to end the Cold War. We're just gonna slam our hand down. End the Cold War. Lessen big government. We're gonna start out here and we're gonna get smaller and smaller with our hands. Lessen big government. And strengthen. We're gonna put our arms up like this and flex our muscles. Strengthen the conservative movement. And at the end, when we say movement, we're just gonna move around. So tell me about the end of the Cold War.
In the 1980s, ooh, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and the U.S. President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, strengthen the conservative movement. All right, and that's history.
Latin. First conjugation, endings, pluperfect tense. To help us remember this one, I'll say, Plu. It stinks in here. I need some air. So the pluperfect tense starts with eram, eris, erat, eramis, eritis, erant. First conjugation, pluperfect tense.
The plu, it stinks in here. I need some air. Eram, eris, erat, eramis, eritis, erant. First conjugation, pluperfect tense.
Science. What is the third law of thermodynamics? The third law of thermodynamics is it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. This is put to the tune of Are You Happy and You Know It? Or if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. What is the third law of thermodynamics? The third law of thermodynamics is it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature.
What is the third law of thermodynamics? The third law of thermodynamics is it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature.
That's science. We'll sing through it and take turns with Bob. Geography. Central America. I got this tune from CC Happy Mom and I will link that in the description. Central America, find the camel's hump. Nicaragua, Honduras bump, El Salvador backdoor, Guatemala, Belize makes a slice of cheese. Okay, there's some strange words in there that make sense when you see it on the map. Find the camel's hump, so Nicaragua, Honduras bump, El Salvador backdoor, Guatemala, Belize makes a slice of cheese. And that's what this looks like on the map.
Central America. I'm going to zoom in to Central America. Oh, sorry, my shadow's getting in there. Okay, so we have Central America. Find the camel hump because this humps up. And that's how we're going to find it. Find the camel hump, Nicaragua, Honduras bump. So this, it's kind of hard to see on here because this doesn't blow up to be big. But this is Honduras. It's on the top right here with the hump. El Salvador backdoor. Okay, so this really small piece, so I'm going to see if I can get it in zoom. It's kind of yellow. This really small piece right here, that's El Salvador. And that's why we call it the back door. It's really small and it's behind Honduras bump. El Salvador back door, Guatemala right here. And then really small and thin is Belize. And that's why we say makes a slice of cheese. So I'm going to try to zoom in on that. See it? It's kind of yellow. Orangish right there. Belize makes a slice of cheese. Okay, so the song altogether is Central America, find the camel hump, Nicaragua, Honduras bump, El Salvador backdoor, Guatemala, Belize makes a slice of cheese.
That's week 21. I hope that helps. A conjunction. I'm going to use the tune from Magic Snow. I totally forgot my tune for this all of a sudden.